The Hargreen Light. I'm Mary. I simply give a conservative perspective about the world around me. This I like to do in the beginning of the podcast, talk about social media and the audio platforms I'm on. So social media, I will link all of that in this podcast. And the audio platforms, I'm on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify podcasters. I'm on Amazon Music, Audible, and I'm looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your streaming podcast. I'm on it. So this particular podcast is the continuation of rock male artists of the 90s. So in this podcast, I am featuring Opeth and Alice in Chains. Let's get into this. The self-proclaimed most evil band in the world, Sweden's Opeth, have become one of the most influential heavy metal bands in all of North Europe. Though their musical beginning was rooted in Doom's death metal, as evidenced by the 1995 Orchid and the following year's Morning Rise, by the time they issued 1998's globally acclaimed My Arms, Your Hearse, they were already moving towards progressive elements into their music. The band started to individually grow, and musically, they started to change their approach and expand. By 2001, the groundbreaking Blackwater Park may have drawn the heat from Pursuit's death metal fans and critics alike, but it was well welcomed globally with prog metal fans, and they championed behind it. By the time they issued their 2005 album, a fundamental fusion of death prog metal, they started to grow and charting a dozen countries, including the top 10 in their native Sweden. In the 2010s, Opeth pursued full-on prog folk metal for the 2011's Heritage, an album that was significant to the band's long-expected departure from the death metal aesthetic. They underscored it with an exclamation point on the 2015's Pale Commune, which sold more than 19,000 copies during the first week of the release in the U.S. Alice in Chains both epitomized the solemn, heavy Seattle sound of the 1990s and stood apart from the grunge sound. What separated Alice in Chains from their alt-rock brethren was their influence and their heavy experience in heavy metal, not punk. Guitarist Jerry Cantrell and vocalist Lane Staley both played in metal bands prior to the formation of Alice in Chains, which formed in 1987. In 1990, they debuted with the release of Facelift. This was well before Nirvana's Nevermind, which pushed the underground into the mainstream. Despite their connections to metal, Alice in Chains thrived in the glory days of grunge. And it wasn't merely a question of timing either. The band's sensibility fit into the alternative rock zeitgeist of the early 1990s. Cantrell's gloomy minor key riffs were the idea and the match for Staley's tortured lyrics, creating a sound unlike no other. After the group gained rock radio with hits like Man in the Box and Wood, in the early days of grunge on MTV, Alice in Chains became one of the first alt-rock bands of the 1990s to delve into acoustic-based music. They created softer hits comparatively as No Excuses and I Stay Away. Though members of Alice in Chains reached success, and internal tension during its commercial peak plagued the band. Much of it steering around Staley's drug addictions. His abuse slowed the band's upward trajectory into the back half of the 1990s. Alice in Chains parted ways after Staley's death, with Inez becoming a member and Cantrell collaborating with Hart and Ozzy Osbourne. Soon after, Sony released the group to reunite to play a benefit concert for the South Asia tsunami disaster of 2004. It was a star-studded event. The one-off concert went well enough that Alice in Chains decided to make their reunion permanent, hiring William Duvall, formerly comes of the Staley replacement. Alice in Chains toured in 2006, which led to a tour supporting Velvet Revolver in 2007. The revived Alice in Chains recorded a comeback album in 2008 with a co-producer, and this appeared in September 2009 as Black Gives Way to Blue. Debuting at 5 on the Billboard charts, Black Gives Away to Blue wound up going gold while racking up 2 Grammy nominations, reestablishing Alice in Chains as a force in the mainstream and modern rock. After that, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here in 2004, then spent the next 2 years on the road after that. And then in 2007, the group started work on another new album with their co-producer, recording primarily in Seattle. And they started to appear and make music in August of 2018. Now, socially, this is what's going on with Alice in Chains. And this article will be linked in this particular podcast. It says, I would suppose new music will happen, right? Said Duvall. There's no plans in the offering right now because we're all kind of doing other things. But inadvertently, it seems to kind of circle back. Yes, of course, this sucks, as new Alice in Chains is always good news. But if everyone in the band is enjoying success elsewhere, then hey, good on them. Duvall had previously spoken about potential new Alice in Chains music before their 2022 tour with Breaking Benjamin and Bush, saying he hoped that it would blow off cobwebs and inspire some new jams. Right now, we're just coming out of the lockdowns and we've all been busy doing our own thing. Jerry is not on tour at the moment for his solo album, and I'm doing my thing. We have plans for some live shows in September / October, and I'm sure that will blow off the cobwebs, and we'll start looking at some new ideas for the next Alice in Chains album. We've had a lot of time imposed on us, and I think we're going through this period of catching up on things that we had planned for 2020 and 2021. And we're all finally getting to do that now. So it's kind of like like we're just dealing with all of these things, stockpile projects that we've had planned a few years back. So once we've gotten back up to speed with things and we get these dates under go and late summer, I'm sure it will spark a whole bunch of ideas for the next Alice in Chains studio album. So what are my thoughts about the band Opeth and Alice in Chains as far as their impact and everything else with the social impact that Alice in Chains, what they're doing, and then with Opeth with their impact in music. I think it's more great examples of unity, and that if you are really passionate about something and you really feel a voice about something, that you use this platform to whatever platform it is to reach different people. And I think that's also another example of why I'm focusing on music, because the impact that it has to unite people with diverse backgrounds and to help unify with that. And also with Alice in Chains, I think it's a really good example of what, more so along the lines of your mental test and your behavioral test of how you can cope through adversity. So, for example, Alice in Chains, as I mentioned, they were making a comeback, trying to come back through COVID, and COVID, it was a really trying time, and I personally, saw this as a huge learning lesson, and that it is very important to do all you can to ground yourself and ground yourself in normalcy, and then surround yourself with people who love and really care for you, because with Alice in Chains, they said, hey, let's make the best of this and see what we can do out of COVID, and let's not make this a barrier for us or to define what we'll do next. We just meld our way through it, get our way through this. And me personally, and myself with my family, what we wanted to do was remain balanced in the present, and know that if we just communicate with each other, just hold strong bonds with each other, we can make it through this. We don't have to just wash ourselves away because this is happening. And I had children during this COVID pandemic, and even though it was a really crazy and a lot of chaotic things that was going on, I still managed, and I saw the bigger picture, and I said, I have to remain centered, and I have to do what I can so I can be the best that I can for my family. And I think that's another important lesson. Music too can help with all of this. As far as it can be another unity, and to silence out the negativity, all the madness that can unfortunately have an impact on society and what society goes through, unfortunately. And I think when artists, particularly music artists, have an insight on that, that's very important, and I think that's very powerful. This is reaching the end of the Harboring Light, and as I mentioned, this is a series, so look out for the next part of this. And when all of the series is over, I will link the particular source for the top 10 list with these bands on it, so you can read more in depth in it if you choose to. So this was the Harboring Light. So I hope you enjoyed, and it helped enrich you and you thought about things from this. So next time, turn up and tune in. Take care.